Welcome to Approved Automotive. Today we're going to be speaking about the whole process of buying a car in the UAE in 2025. Let's get into it. My name's Abby. I'm the brand director here at Approved Automotive. Today I'm with Lewis, our sales ambassador, and with Lee, the sales controller, and we're going to be speaking about all things to do with purchasing a car in the UAE in 2025. That includes what to look out for when you're first looking at purchasing, also requirements for finance, also how Approved supports you. So without further ado, let's get into it. So first things first, you've just arrived in the UAE and you just got your Emirates ID as well. But then where do you start with looking for a car?
So first thing that most people will do is figure out what sort of car they want. So whether it's an SUV or a sports car or a sedan, what's going to suit their lifestyle and their needs. Obviously, people moving over to Dubai with a family, they might need a larger car compared to somebody who's just moved to Dubai, he's just 21, got his first job or something, he might only need a smaller sedan. After that, then it sort of comes into makes, models, but also budget, because of course your budget is going to affect what makes and models you can afford.
Let's head downstairs and we'll talk about how funding works. So welcome to Approved Showroom. So this is the epicenter of Approved Automotive. And if you have a look around, we work on all kinds of premium luxury vehicles for sale. We have a lot of Mercedes, BMW, Porsche, and all kinds of weird and wonderful cool cars as well, like the Lusso, Huracan Evo, one of my favorites there. And yeah, around 200 cars for sale any one time. If you have a look through the gap there, that is our building site, because we will soon be expanding, but more about that next time. But now we've spoken about kind of requirements of what you start to think about when looking for a vehicle. How do we fund it? What are the options for that?
Okay, so there are three options that you can use to buy a car in the UAE. It's cash, bank finance, or lease to own.
What's the percentage of like cash and finance, for example, of what people go for, roughly? Does it vary?
Typically, we find that around about 80% of our clients are doing it via finance and do the remaining 20%.
Just because there's a benefit to keep the cash in the bank and finance, even if you can fund it that way.
Absolutely, and the rates in the UAE are considerably lower than other parts in the world. You probably find that the average finance rate is around about 3.5%.
Okay. And then what documents do you need? Because I know here it can be a bit of a sticky situation that people just arrive in the country and they got their Emirates ID and then they're ready to buy a car, but it's not necessarily, it's not the case, is it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So once they do have the Emirates ID, generally they need at least one salary that will credit into the account. We'll require a salary certificate from the client as well. And that salary then can be dependent on what car they can actually purchase based on their affordability.
And then can you explain to me exactly in depth about DBR?
Yeah, DBR is probably one of the most common misconceptions when it comes to financing a car here. So to give you an example, if a client's salary is 20,000, they can use 10,000 dirhams, so exactly half of it, for any loans, liabilities, and so on.
And I understand that like a mortgage would count towards that on a house, but not a rental contract.
Absolutely.
Is that correct?
Absolutely. So if then a client then has a mortgage, which is 6,000 per month, remaining in their DBR, they've got 4,000 as an allowance.
Okay, so top to bottom, what paperwork and documents do you need for applying for finance?
So we would need Emirates ID, a driving license, the passport and the visa, and a salary certificate. That's it.
Good. Okay, so we've just spoken about DBR being a big misconception about what counts towards it, but also what are other kind of common issues you face, Lewis, in the process of buying a car start to finish with clients?
With bank financing, it typically takes a lot longer here in the UAE compared to other areas of the world. For example, where all three of us from, the UK. You can walk in, finance your car, and walk out within 2-3 hours max. Whereas here, it does tend to take 7 to 10 days to get the approval, the LPO, and for the full process to go through with bank financing. So I would say that's one of the main misconceptions about financing here in the UAE. The other one is DBR. Obviously, ultimately, it is up to the bank as to what your DBR is and what sort of parameters you have to work within. So even though we are a car showroom, even though we can do as much as possible to help get you approved, ultimately, we don't know in the end. It is the bank's final call.
So let me ask you each one, to keep it short, what are one of the most frequently asked questions you'll get in about anything of the buying process?
So
Often.
One of the things that we get asked a lot is about affordability. So going back to bank financing again, a lot of people think that because of their DBR and because they know the 50% of their salary rule, they think that they can get a full loan for, let's say, for example, a G-Wagon. If that G-Wagon is 10,000 dirhams per month and their salary is 20,000, they think, oh, amazing, I can go and afford it. However, there are other parameters that the bank work towards. For example, one of our partner banks, Emirates NBD, they have a rule of the maximum loan amount that they can give is 15 times your salary. So let's say your salary is 20, they can loan you 15 times of that, which might not always be the total amount.
But does that really
G-Wagon.
vary, like bank to bank?
Correct.
Does
so
it?
Emirates NBD do 15 times. Our other partner bank, ADCB, they do 10 times. So it does depend which bank you use.
That's a big difference.
Correct.
And if somebody is with one of those banks already, is it more beneficial for them? Like, will they get a better interest rate or something for going for the bank that they already bank with?
Sometimes, yes. If you're, let's say, a priority customer or a VIP customer and you've got a relationship manager at the bank, it is possible that you can get preferential rates. Obviously, us being a partnered showroom with certain banks, we do tend to get preferential rates for our customers as well.
But that's another thing to ask, actually. So if you have a banker that you work with for everything, like on your personal banking, are they always the most useful for you in the situation of getting an auto loan, or is it more useful for you to come and sometimes speak to somebody that we work with alongside, specifically always on auto loans? Does it make a difference? Can it make a difference?
We would definitely recommend using the connections that we have.
Yeah.
Again, not only because we can get preferential rates, but also because sometimes if you have a relationship manager and they do everything for your finances, they might just be a relationship manager. They might not be clued up on the auto loan process. They might not even work in the auto loan department, whereas we have dedicated specialized people
so
to do that.
it can also be more efficient and quicker as well, right? And everyone wants their car, right?
Exactly. You want it as quick as possible, and obviously we can help with that.
Okay. And Lee, do you have a frequently asked question that you're asked a lot that comes up?
Probably the most frequent one for me is whether it's beneficial to finance the car in their own personal name or if they have a company. So we get lots of company owners that come through the door for us personally. Generally, if someone owns the company, it will go under the company name, providing that they meet the criteria for the approval.
What is the criteria though for that? Because that can be a bit sticky, right?
It's
Like
probably
with
one of the
owning a
most
company.
difficult applications that we get because the company generally needs to be open for at least 12 months. They need to have a registered office in Dubai. They need to have a registered landline, a registered website. They need to have generally at least 10 employees and a healthy account balance to go with it. So once they meet that type of criteria, then usually they're fine to go forward.
Good. Right, the next question, maybe we've kind of touched on it already, but it's more to do with how specifically does Approved support, because we can't do the finance, we can't do the insurance, but I know that we are way above and beyond, to be honest, than the market norm, right, for things like supporting through the process of that.
Correct. So at Approved, we advertise ourselves as a one-stop shop. You can come here, you can purchase a car, you can detail a car, you can get PPF, window tinting, ceramic coating. We can assist you with your insurance, we'll assist you with the full RTA process, we'll assist you with the bank financing. From start to finish, we will essentially hold your hand throughout the entire buying process, and then obviously right up until the point where you take delivery of the car, and even after. You need our assistance after that, we're always here to help.
Anything to add, Lee?
And I think he just mentions all of it, really. Yeah, just on to what Lewis said, we pretty much hold your hand right the way through the process. The idea behind it is that people in Dubai are generally very, very busy, and they don't have the time to commit to these things. So if we can take as much of that responsibility as possible to make the process easy and enjoyable for the client.
Just helps for everyone, really, because where it's not straightforward with like payouts and stuff, if people are going for finance, for example, then it's just, if you've never done it before, it's also really easy to kind of get, I don't know a better way to say it, mugged off basically with things like this, because you don't know what you're looking for and you need to trust the person that you're buying from, the place you're buying from, to help you with this in that aspect.
Absolutely.
Right, again, circling back, but I want to know what happens once the deal is agreed, the paperwork's done. Like, how do we round everything up after that?
So basically, once the full process is done and it's come to the point of like the car is ready to be transferred to the new owner, we will facilitate a full handover process here at Approved. I know there are multiple places in the UAE that will do this at the RTA, but the RTA is one of the busiest and most hectic places I've ever been. I don't even know if you've ever been, but
I've been and I don't like to go.
It's awful.
Yeah.
However, it's a part of the process. That's why we will do it for you. Then once we've registered your car, you'll be able to come here to our showroom, have a coffee and take delivery of your car in the comfort of the showroom.
And what about the handover gift? What's special about that?
So generally when the client comes to collect the car, it's in the middle of the showroom under a cover. So we do like an unveiling for the car itself. We also have a handover gift box, which has got the likes of your SALIC tag. It's got a temperature control bottle, a keyring, and even some chocolate, some white chocolates in there as well.
Yeah, you'd be very surprised because that sounds very simple, but it's poignant for us to mention on camera because we don't know of any other place that does that. And it's not just any old chocolate, because it is a picture of the car you purchased. Apart from if the car comes so quickly in and out within a week and we didn't have the chance to get the chocolate printed, but 99% of the time. But yeah, it's very, very nice. So there you have it. Just to round things up, I want to know from each of you your personal advice.
Personal advice when it comes to buying a car?
Yes.
Use a trusted seller, somebody like Approved. We have over 600 5-star Google reviews. We will assist you with the full support that we've mentioned in this whole video. Our cars are pristine condition. They all come with a 175-point mechanical inspection report, giving you complete peace of mind. And any car that doesn't have a manufacturer's warranty comes with a 2-year warranty from our side.
What more is there to say? Do it like the first time, come to Approved.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. The cars in the showroom, they're literally ready to drive out. And although there is a bit of a process in between with the paperwork, if you were cash and you wanted the car today, we can give the car to you today because, as Lee and Lewis have both touched on, you have the cosmetic preparation, the mechanical inspection, and actually anything that needs to be done is already done. None of this, oh, we're going to leave a wheel damaged or worse until somebody comes and wants to buy the car. Then, oh, if you want it fixed, you've got to pay for recovery. No, that's not what Approved do. It's literally ready to go. So yeah, that's the best way to round things up and come to Approved if you want that experience for sure. But please remember to like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching and we'll see you next time. Bye.